right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, in need of new routes after an urban farm that feeds North St. Louis families is destroyed by fire.
Rumbling into the weekend, when some showers and thunderstorms are expected to slide through the bi-state area.
But first tonight, he lost his daughter in the storms.
Everybody knows God works in mysterious ways, but we want to thank him right now for giving us 33 years.
Only on 5 on your side, he remembers her life, taken too soon when a tree fell on her car.
We are learning more tonight about Katie Cohn through the eyes of her grief-stricken father. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Tonight, James Cohn talked only with 5 on your side. Our Robert Townsend is live in the Grove neighborhood where the 33-year-old woman lost her life during last weekend's storms. Robert.
Mike and Ann, James Cohn says despite all the sadness and grief he's feeling right now, he wanted to do the interview with me. It's his way of remembering and honoring his Katie. A proud James Cohn beams with joy when he thinks about his daughter, Catherine Cohn.
The smile, as you'll see, will just melt you. When you see her smile, you're seeing life.
He says ever since Katie was a young girl, she was kind-hearted, full of life, loved children, and loved to travel.
She moved to Argentina to learn Spanish. Why? Because she was going to go to Colombia, South America, and spend a year down there in dusty little villages to teach those children English.
Now, no one can believe what happened to Katie last Saturday.
She had called her mother at 2:30 to say, I'm going to, go grocery shopping. I'll call you later.
Sadly, that never happened. Cohn says his daughter parked her car behind her home in the Grove neighborhood in the midst of a severe storm. Katie sat in her Kia Optima waiting it out.
The lovely people parked right next to her in their car. We're doing the same thing.
Suddenly, a massive oak tree uprooted, fell on Katie's car, killing her. The 33-year-old's twin sister called their dad with the heartbreaking news.
She slowed down. She said, "My sister's dead." Neighbors tried to help, and obviously the tree was just massive with tons and tons. I heard it was over 120 years old.
Despite all the 911 calls, no one could reach Katie.
I don't want them to think that their efforts were in vain.
Katie only moved to this neighborhood a month ago. She was single and a beloved office worker at the Jewish Federation of St. Louis for 5 months. Her devastated dad now leans on his faith.
Everybody knows God works in mysterious ways, but we want to thank him right now for giving us 33 years.
Funeral services for Katie Cohn will be private. We're live in the Grove. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Cohn's father did not want to talk about criticism surrounding the emergency response during Saturday's storms. The first crews didn't arrive to Cohen's car until 35 minutes after the first call was made to 911. Officials blame low staffing levels and a flood of calls during the height of the storms. They're urging the public not to hang up when on hold with 911 and call back, because when you do, you go to the back of the line.
Tonight, the power is almost fully back on both sides of the river. This weekend, storms left tens of thousands of Ameren customers in the dark and without air conditioning. But tonight, those outages are down to just a few hundred homes. Crews were brought in from out of town to help rebuild power poles, repair substations, and install new lines. Let's take a live look at St. Charles on this clear July night. The storm clouds will be moving back in for the weekend. So let's get the latest from Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
Well, and the question is how intense will any of those storms be this weekend? And right now, we know it's not a washout for the weekend. There is a time frame later tomorrow into tomorrow evening where it looks more likely that we would see rainfall over much of the area, or at least the opportunity. But certainly it's quiet out there tonight. We have just some high clouds. Our action will come out of Nebraska and out of Kansas as we head through the overnight hours and into tomorrow. So we just kind of put a future cast track on this here, taking us through lunchtime tomorrow into the evening. And we do expect to see some thunderstorms come out of mid-Missouri, probably after supper time tomorrow, and then slide through the St. Louis area during the evening hours tomorrow night. There is the potential one or two of those storms might be a little stronger with some gusty winds or hail, but there's also a lot of uncertainty around all of this. this. So much of the day on Friday, if not all of the day for most of us, is dry. A few storms by evening, that overall severe weather threat low. We'll talk about when those rain chances decrease as we head into the weekend in a few minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott. Tonight, we're learning a former Lindenwood University hockey coach accused of molesting 2 juveniles is also accused of possessing multiple images of child pornography involving more children. James Lambert pleaded not guilty today to federal charges. Court records allege he took victims across state lines for sex. Lambert is also facing sex charges in St. Charles and St. Louis counties. Police say he assaulted a youth hockey player he coached inside a family bathroom at the Centene Community Ice Center in Maryland Heights. Anyone with information on more possible victims is asked to call police.
Charges have been dropped against a Florissant man arrested in connection to a mass shooting in a Kansas nightclub. Brandon Young was originally charged with aggravated assault, but investigators now say video surveillance shows he may have been acting in self-defense. 9 people were shot, 2 were trampled during the chaos inside this Wichita nightclub early Sunday morning. All are expected to survive. Police are still looking for the gunman. A Jennings man is now charged for a 4th of July murder and standoff. Antonio Speed is charged with shooting and killing Peter Cooper and hurting a woman on Tuesday. Police say Cooper and a woman were walking to a barbecue on Jendale Court when Speed ran out of a home and started firing a gun at them. After the shooting, Speed barricaded himself inside of a home for hours. While inside, police say he live streamed on Facebook, admitting to the shooting and apologized. He later surrendered to police.
Tonight, family members are remembering a mother and her 2 children murdered inside their St. Anne home. Seychelle Schomburg and her children, 14-year-old Kyrene Stevenson and 5-year-old Ushara Schomburg, were killed on Jane Avenue Monday night. Schomburg's boyfriend shot them before turning the gun on himself. Her 9-year-old daughter, Akuri, survived the shooting and ran for help.
Obviously, her mental health is going to be a huge priority going forward. And so we just want to make sure that she has all the things she needs throughout her lifetime. This is a lifelong journey ahead, and so we want to ensure that all of those resources go to her.
She was released from the hospital, and she's in Joplin with her grandma. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with funeral costs, and we have a link in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com.
Tonight, Manchester Road is back open in Baldwin. It was closed for several hours this afternoon, right near New Baldwin Road for a serious crash. Police say 2 people were taken to the hospital. Their conditions are not known. No word on what led to the crash. A St. Francis County man is dead after crashing into a minivan carrying a family of 6. The crash happened just after noon on Route Y near French Village. 26-year-old Wyatt Van Gundy was killed. Police say he lost control and crashed into the minivan. A 14-year-old boy and a 69-year-old woman were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. 2 other adults and 2 other children suffered minor injuries.
Tonight, St. Louis investigators continue to try and figure out what caused a massive fire last week that destroyed a former Catholic church turned skate park. But the damage didn't stop there.
A nearby farm was also devastated by the fire. New tonight, our Brent Solomon is here to explain how that farm serves as a food resource for people in North City.
That's right. We're talking about the New Roots Urban Farm. It's located directly next to the former St. Laborious Church. We've introduced you to those working to get the old church back up. Now meet the man behind the farm, who is also hoping to rebound.
I call myself the king of sunflowers.
Meet Antoine Adams.
One of my sunflowers here. These are some of the sunflowers grown taller than a human being.
He takes pride in what you see here.
I grow premium organic fruits and veggies.
It's the New Roots Urban Farm on Hogan Street in North City, a big resource for the community.
I give away all of my fruits and veggies. I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I use my chickens and my baby bunnies to create what I call cuddle therapy for kids, adults, and seniors.
Right now, though, that goodwill has come to a halt. Last week, flames consumed the old St. Laborious Church, a former church turned skate park and art studio. Adams got the call.
Oh, hell broke loose. Top of the roof was on fire.
He commends firefighters for working to prevent it from spreading to nearby homes and businesses. Unfortunately, his farm took a hit.
All of the water just rushed the farm. When the firemen came in, hosing down the area, they damaged the greenhouse and it flooded and it killed over a dozen baby chicks.
He says it is no longer safe to grow produce.
Right now, I'm deeming this area a hazard land. You do not want heavy toxins and metals in your food. I've just planted 100 tomato plants, 50 pepper plants, over 50 peanut plants. I keep Swiss chard, collards, mustard greens.
Right now, there's a GoFundMe to help the farm.
So when the hose came in,
Adams believes it could take years to remediate the soil here and bounce back.
I will still be here to do that. I am this community.
The New Roots Urban Farm has been around for 20 years now. Adams says he refuses to let it go. Saturday, there's a volunteer effort underway to help clean up. All you have to do is show up. It's from 9 in the morning until 6 p.m.
A popular summer spot in Jefferson County will be closed this weekend over safety concerns. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office and Parks Department are closing Rockford Beach Park in House Springs. That includes the river access. Officials say large crowds in recent weeks have overwhelmed first responders. Since Memorial Day, the Sheriff's Office has responded to numerous fights, thefts, and underage drinking. There's also been a drowning. The park will reopen on Monday.
Tonight, we're hearing from Congressman Mike Boss for the first time since a fellow Republican announced he's joining the race for Illinois' 12th congressional district seat. Boss hosted a town hall addressing veteran health care concerns in Belleville tonight. On Tuesday, former state representative Darren Bailey announced he would run against the five-term congressman. Bailey claims he's more conservative than Bost. Tonight, Bost responded to that assertion.
I think my record speaks for itself on being conservative. I know I'm pro-life. I am pro-Second Amendment. But I will stand on my record, and I feel comfortable about that, and I believe a majority of my constituents in Illinois 12 do as well.
Illinois' 12th district covers most of southern Illinois from Mascoutah to Carbondale.
They look like the real deal, but these snacks are actually edibles. Tonight, the crackdown on copycats of kid favorites. Food for thought for parents of infants. Tonight, we're uncovering the risk of heavy metals in popular baby foods and which products have the highest levels.
Washout weekend? No, but the Weather First team is tracking the areas that are more likely to see some heavy rain and when it falls. That's in less than 10 minutes.
Tragedy tonight in Florida. An 18-month-old girl is dead. Police say her parents left her in the car for 9 hours after coming home from a 4th of July party. The heat index reached 105.
She's certainly old enough to realize that she is suffering a torturous death at the negligence of Joel and Jasmine.
Investigators say Joel and Jasmine Rondon both tested positive for alcohol and marijuana, and the father also had meth in his system. Tonight, authorities in central Illinois are looking for who's responsible for leaving 7 dogs abandoned on a boat. The boat was discovered yesterday, anchored along the Illinois River in Peoria. One of the dogs has died. The conditions of the other 6 dogs are unknown.
An update tonight to an I-team investigation into edibles that resemble popular snack food. The federal government is now cracking down on those products. The FDA and the FTC sent warning letters to 6 companies calling their marketing reckless and illegal. The packaging resembles popular snack foods like Doritos, Jolly Ranchers, Sour Patch Kids, and Oreos, but these products contain Delta-8 THC. Last year, the I-team looked into the psychoactive cannabinoid, which is often called weed light. The product, which is not regulated, has been linked to hundreds of reports to the National Poison Data System. Tonight, a warning for parents: the foods you might be feeding your baby could contain potentially hazardous heavy metals. Despite mounting pressure to reduce those levels, a new Consumer Reports investigation finds the overall risk of many baby food products has not improved.
5 years ago, Consumer Reports tested 50 baby food products and found concerning levels of heavy metals in most of the product.
About 2/3 were found to contain enough inorganic arsenic, lead, and cadmium combined to be associated with potential health risks.
Long-term intake of heavy metals can lead to a higher risk of a variety of health problems, including lower IQ, behavioral issues, links to ADHD and autism, increased cancer risk, and other issues in young children. Now, 5 years later, CR retested 7 baby foods that had concerning levels of heavy metals in its original tests. In 3 of the products, heavy metal levels decline. But for 3 others, the levels are still high enough to be concerning.
Back in 2018 and in our recent tests, baby food snacks like puffs and products made with sweet potatoes and rice fared the worst. That's because certain plants, like rice, absorb higher levels of heavy metals than other plants.
Beechnut, Gerber, Earth's Best, and Happy Family responded to CR, saying their products were safe and that heavy metals are naturally occurring in the environment which these foods are grown. The makers of baby mum products did not respond. CR experts believe that even at the levels of heavy metals they found, it's important to minimize exposure and protect your family.
You don't want to completely eliminate foods like sweet potatoes because they actually do have nutritional value. Just remember, variety is key. Make sure your kids eat a wide variety of healthy foods.
Low heavy metal options include infant cereals made from oats and other non-rice whole grains, fresh and frozen fruit, eggs, beans, applesauce, cheese, and yogurt.
And Consumer Reports recommends parents minimize the amount of baby snacks like puffs and teething wafers in their child's diets. These are more likely to be high in heavy metals and are highly processed foods.
Tonight, Swifties are descending on Kansas City ahead of Taylor Swift's Eras tour. Early this morning, there were long lines outside Arrowhead Stadium. More than 36 hours before the singer's first concert in that city. Fans just wanted to be the first to browse the Taylor Swift merchandise.
She's just like my idol, and she means the world to me, and I just had to be here. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm gonna feel. This is my first Taylor Swift concert, and I've loved her ever since her first album.
Swift will play 2 shows in Kansas City tomorrow night and Saturday night. Speaking of concerts, let's take a live look at Busch Stadium. It is packed tonight. Not for a Cardinals game. Country music star Morgan Wallen is performing right now. You can see like all the cell phone lights in there. He's brought this One Night at a Time world tour to town. He's playing 2 shows at Busch, both tonight and tomorrow nights, and both are sold out.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the weather first forecast. A nice night to see a concert. Scott?
Yeah, nice night to be out and about, of course, in the St. Louis area. We had a nice sunset this evening. Donna shared with us the beautiful sunset over Festus this evening with some of those high clouds coming in. Donna's on our Weather Watchers group. You can get the 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers group. Go there on Facebook and join us. We'd love to see your photos. Look at this. Low 70s right now in most places. A little warmer in town, of course, in pockets. But even Forest Park has cooled back to 74 degrees. Lambert, though, is 74. Feels like it, too, with that dew point of 59. This is dry air, or at least drier air, especially for July. 86 was our high today. 72 was a low this morning. Upper 50s, low 60s, away from town, in town, mid 60s overnight tonight. A few clouds coming and going, but nothing substantial. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning, quiet conditions around St. Louis, have showers and thunderstorms down towards the Boot Heel into Arkansas. And then we're really focused here. There's a couple of areas, one over eastern Colorado, but the one we'll have to watch, I think it's the one coming out of Wyoming into South Dakota and Nebraska. Right now, high pressure is keeping us comfortable. The boundary separating that more uncomfortable air from the air we have is down to our south and west. And those showers and storms will tend to flow along and north of that boundary as we head through overnight tonight into tomorrow. So tomorrow, the focus is still well to our west. We start the day with some sunshine. Clouds begin to increase. The chances for showers and thunderstorms really start to ramp up later in the afternoon, initially west of St. Louis. And again, don't get married to the exact timing on this because it will change. This is just a radar simulation, our radar simulated futurecast, bringing those scattered showers and some thunderstorms into the area later tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Now, we're hoping this is going to hold off out in Warrenton. We're going to be out at the Warren County Fair tomorrow night, storm tracker and all live with you. So come out and see us. Temperatures will be in the 70s for the evening hours. With those scattered showers and thunderstorms rolling off to the east, they'll tend to diminish. So now what we do is we kind of got rid of the small scale stuff. We have to look at the broader scale for Saturday. And the trends are for most of the rain to shift south and southeast of St. Louis during the day on Saturday. We'll stay in the upper 70s to around 80. Your rain chances, while they're there on Saturday, certainly drop off and tend to settle farther to the south. And then by Sunday, most of us are going to stay dry. We're thinking the end of the weekend's pretty nice, with temperatures in the mid-80s, comfortably warm, and any rain well south of St. Louis. Then we'll go back into the 90s early next week with potentially some more storms by Wednesday. Later tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night and into at least the first half of Saturday, that's your best time frame to catch some rain.
Can't complain about the temperatures the next several days, though.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you. Corey, what's coming up?
Well, and the Cardinals' pre-All-Star trip to the beach in Miami has been a nightmare so far, but it did end well tonight. The Battlehawks are back in town, and a few local hoop stars are doing some big things. Stick around. Sports is up next.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
I have some good news. Unlike last night, tonight's Cardinals highlights do not come with a viewer discretion advised warning. The finale against the Marlins was a happy ending to what had been a dreary trip down to Miami. How many more starts will Jack Flaherty make in a Cardinals uniform? If they're looking to trade him, he may have upped his value tonight. Jack allowed 9 hits but navigated through it all, gets out of a bases-loaded jam right there. 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball for Flaherty tonight. Young Marlins star Yuri Perez was rolling for Miami until this. Nolan Arenado goes down and gets one, and it goes a long way. Arenado's 17th of the season. He was just a bit pumped up, heading around the bases. Cards added on late. Nolan Gorman bloops one in. That made it 3-0. And then Jordan Hicks got the ball again in the 9th, looking for some redemption, and he got it. A perfect 9th inning. Cards win 3-0 to salvage a game in Miami.
That was good baseball today. It was fun to watch him compete. He was into every pitch, pounded the zone with the fastball, pitched in well, got some sinkers in there for some broken bats, stranded 2 leadoff doubles. The overall competition was what you wanted to see. It's important whenever you have a hiccup like that to get back out there, and he pounded the zone. It was a quick inning for him. It's what it's supposed to look like, so nice job by Hicks as well.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Thank goodness for City SC's dream season. Without it, we'd be in the midst of a pretty miserable sports summer here in St. Louis. City will be back at it this weekend up in Toronto. We know how bad the injury bug has been for City SC, but it may be starting to get a little bit better. Edu Leuven was back on the practice pitch today and could be ready to go soon. We've talked often about City's depth showing up this season, and Coach Carnell and his special guest you'll see in just a second have loved the passion everyone has been showing to prove themselves for minutes.
Just in terms of who's stepping up, there's competition for places, there's guys knocking on my door asking, tough questions to me as a coach, which is something I embrace, right? So if we can have 25 hungry guys all ready to compete over the summer, that just makes us one step better.
The Battlehawks were back in town tonight at an event for some season ticket holders. They'll be holding a showcase tomorrow for players with dreams of playing in the league next season. One of the big questions before we get back into Battlehawk season is about the future of their star quarterback. Will A.J. McCarron be back under center in St. Louis for another year? I asked him tonight.
I don't know. I'm just right now enjoying the off season. Enjoying time with my boys and their sports, and then we'll decide, as season gets closer, NFL season gets closer, we'll figure out what best fits our family and then go from there.
Congrats to Belleville's E.J. Liddell. He has reportedly agreed to a 3-year deal worth over $6 million with the New Orleans Pelicans. Liddell tore his ACL in Summer League last year, delaying his rookie debut, but he's back and could play a role on this year's team in New Orleans. Keep an eye on the former Belleville West Maroon. Incarnate Word grad Nafisa Collier announced today that she's working on a way to keep WNBA players from going overseas to play in the offseason. She and fellow WNBA star Brianna Stewart are planning a 6-team league called Unrivaled that will feature 30 of the league's best. The season will run from January through March. Thank goodness the Cardinals got a win today, Mike and Ann.
Happy flight.
Happy
All right,
flight.
Corey, thanks.
Spreading his wings, the first flight planned for a famous baby eaglet in St. Louis. St. Louis rapper Nelly no longer owns some of his hit songs. The Grammy winner sold part of his music catalog to a private equity firm. The deal is reportedly worth $50 million for 50% ownership and includes his Billboard-topping songs Dilemma and Hot in Here.
Tonight, Twitter owner Elon Musk is threatening to sue Mark Zuckerberg over his new platform, Threads. Musk claims he stole Twitter trade secrets. The new social network from Meta attracted more than 30 million users in its first 16 hours.
Tomorrow, a famous eaglet at the World Bird Sanctuary will take flight and be set free in the wild. Rocky will be released from the Audubon Riverlands in West Alton. So if you remember, this young bird had a foster dad, Murphy. They became famous earlier this year. Murphy kept trying to adopt a rock. Well, then they put Rocky in front of him, and he adopted Rocky instead.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis. It begins at 4 a.m. Have a great Friday.